This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diving, welcoming you to another sports catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy today is another one of the big three. I somehow did Rafa, Nadal, and Novak Djokovic. I got lucky. I remember their birthdays, in a sense. So now I gotta do Roger Federer. Roger is now 40 years old. He's hit the big 4-0. Something I'll be doing in 4 years. But anyway, Federer is from Switzerland. He's actually ranked number 9 right now in the ATP, but that's because he's been basically not playing as many tournaments as he used to do. He's won 20 Grand Slam titles. He shares that with Nadal and Djokovic. That's weird how the big three actually end up being sharing the most Grand Slams. Of course, Grand Slam is the Australian, the French, the US, and the Wimbledon. US Open's coming up shortly. Anyway, Federer has been world number 1 for 310 weeks, including a record 237 consecutive weeks. To put that in context, that's nearly 5 whole calendar years. Holy smokes. And he's been the year-end number 1 5 times. He's won 103 ATP titles, second behind Jimmy Connors. But he's won 6 ATP finals, like the final events. Federer has been playing an era where he's been dominating men's tennis together with Rafa, Nadal, and Novak Djokovic. They're basically the big three. Federer won his first Grand Slam singles title at the age of 21 in 2003. He won 3 out of 4 in 2004, which he did in 2006 and 2007 as well. From 2005 to 2010, when he really dominated. Those 6 years, he only missed 1 singles final. That's amazing. He would basically get the career Grand Slam at the 2009 French Open, but only because of Nadal's shock loss to Robin Soderling. So by 2009 at Wimbledon, he beat Pete Sampras's Grand Slam singles titles because Sampras only had 14. Federer went through a bad period. Between 2010 and 2016, he only won 1 major title, which was weird. Federer did help Switzerland win the Davis Cup in 2014 and getting a gold medal at a couple of Olympics. Federer would have a renaissance at the majors after taking time off in 2016 because of knee injury. He put 3 more Grand Slam titles over the next 2 years and became the oldest number 1 in the world at age 36, my age, in 2018. He's very popular. He's a philanthropist. He's been good. He established the Roger Federer Foundation, which helps impoverished children in Southern Africa. He has $100 million in U.S. in endorsement stuff. So Federer was subjected to compulsory military service in the Swiss Armed Forces because of all male Swiss citizens, but he was unsuitable and not required to fulfill his military obligation. He did serve in the Civil Protection Force and was required to pay 3% of his income as an alternative. Federer is actually married to a former WTA player, Miroslava Federer, Vavrinec, because Vavrinec played for Switzerland in the 2000 Sydney Olympics alongside Federer. She was called Mirka. She retired in 2002 because of an injury. They were married in 2009, and Mirka gave birth to identical twin girls. And the Federers have another pair of identical twins, this time boys. That's creepy. You have two sets of twins. And they're not mixed twins. They're 2 girls and then 2 boys. Roger Federer made his breakthrough in the 2001 Wimbledon when he faced Pete Sampras in the fourth round of Wimbledon. Federer would have a tough 5-set match to take care of the number 1 seed and go to the quarters. He would lose in the tiebreaker to Tim Henman. Henman would subsequently lose to, I believe, Goran Ivanisevic, who then took care of Patrick Rector in the final. So he was looking good. But the Grand Slam breakthrough came in 2003 when he won at Wimbledon, taking down Mark Philippoussis of Australia in the final. Federer didn't do so well. other than that. But in 2004, he won 3 Grand Slam titles. He won the Australian Open over Marat Safin. He took another Wimbledon against Andy Roddick, and he beat Lleyton Hewitt in the U.S. Open final. Of course, he didn't win the French Open until 2009. So I guess when you talk about making it good things. So anyway, he was good. Federer ended up losing back-to-back Grand Slam semifinals in 2005 before winning Wimbledon over Andy Roddick and the U.S. Open against Andre Agassi. Federer had a career best season. They said statistically, Federer's season was the second best season of all time in the Open era, behind Rod Laver's Grand Slam year of '69. Federer won 12 singles titles and was 92-5. Pretty good, huh? And Federer reached the finals in all but one tournament he entered. Wow. Federer won all the Grand Slams except for the French Open, which he lost in the final to Nadal. Federer beat Nadal in Wimbledon to get revenge. In the Australian Open, he took down Marcos Baghdatis, who was a massive Cinderella story from Cyprus. And the U.S. Open, Federer took down Roddick to win. So, yeah, Federer, of those 5 losses in 2006, he lost 4 of them to Rafa Nadal, and the other one was to Andy Murray in the Cincy tournament, which was the only tournament he didn't get to the finals in. So 2007, Federer did it again. He reached every Grand Slam singles title, winning 3 of them. He beat Fernando Gonzalez in the Australian Open. He was actually the first player in a Grand Slam since Bjorn Borg at the 1980 French Open to go through a Grand Slam tournament without dropping a set. Federer unfortunately would lose to Nadal as usual at the French Open final. Federer was the 4-time defending champion and took care of Rafa Nadal. It took 5 sets to get rid of him. But at Wimbledon, at the U.S. Open, he took care of Djokovic. So Federer looked huge and all that. Federer would only get 1 Grand Slam. That was the U.S. Open against Andy Murray. He lost to Nadal at the French Open and Wimbledon, which was shocking because Federer was going for a 6th straight Wimbledon, which would have been the record. Federer lost the semifinals to Djokovic. Basically, Djokovic was getting back on. Yeah. 2009, Federer won the French Open only because of the loss of Nadal losing to Soderling. Federer took care of Soderling to get the career Grand Slam. That win would actually tie him with Sampras for the most Grand Slam singles titles. And no, Pete Sampras was not a career Grand Slam, because Sampras never won the French Open. Federer took care of Roddick at Wimbledon to get his 15th Grand Slam title, breaking Sampras's mark. And then, don't want to bore you too much, Federer won many more titles in the Grand Slams. So once he beat Roddick, he did lose the U.S. Open final to Juan Martín del Potro. He won the Australian Open in 2010 against Murray. He won 2012 Wimbledon against Murray in a famous match. And then it took 5 years till he got another major. That was 2017 Australian Open against Rafa Nadal. Then he won Wimbledon 2017 against Marin Cilic. Won the 2018 Australian Open against Cilic. The last Grand Slam final Federer was in was Wimbledon 2019 at Djokovic. But Federer has been battling injuries, so basically he's got a lot of things going for him. He's got many cultural impacts, especially in Europe and for tennis fans everywhere, because, he's very respected. He's known for the Roger Federer Foundation to help disadvantaged children in South Africa. So he's basically a goodwill ambassador for UNICEF. In 2011, Federer actually was ranked second with the most respected personality behind Nelson Mandela. Roger Federer was number one ranked in 2016 as the most recognizable person in Switzerland. Well, obviously. He was named the most marketable sports person in 2017, earning about 49.2 million euros and stuff. Federer did top the highest paid athletes with $106 million in total earnings from salary, winnings, and endorsements. He bit Cristiano Ronaldo up the line for that mark. Federer is known for his Nike apparel. But in 2018, the contract expired and he signed it with Uniqlo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. So yeah, winning 6 straight end-of-year tournaments. He did it in 03 against Agassi, 04 against Hewitt, 2006 against Blake, 07 against David Federer, 2010 against Nadal, 2011 against Djokovic. Unfortunately, though, since 2011, he hasn't won a Euro championship. He lost 3 times in the ATP finals in the 2010s to Novak. But he did win the gold. He lost the gold medal singles match to Andy Murray. But he did win for doubles. He has tons of records. 20 singles titles, 3 seasons with 3 singles titles. So he had 3 years, which he had won 3 of the 4 Grand Slams. Most men's singles finals overall, 31. These are Grand Slam things. 81 tournament appearances overall. He stands alone. Most consecutive finals, 10. Consecutive semifinals, 23. Yeah. He's amazing, that. He set a lot of records. And he's coming back from injury, so will he get number 21 and take first place all by himself? Time will tell. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.